Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to FormulaXbox Season 7 here in Russia at the Sochi Autodrome for the Russian Grand Prix. It's KGibbs F1 here with you for today's race, and we hope that the spectacle on the circuit is as stunning as the backdrop here, as obviously we wind our way through the 2014 Winter Olympic Park. So plenty of sights to see in and around the racetrack, and we hope plenty of sights on the racetrack for you today. As Ollie Bob took a maiden pole position in qualifying with a 1:35.908, not a bad time at all on debut, so he'll be very pleased to start in his McLaren from pole position. And Sinan in fact joins him on the front row of the grid on a 1:36.277 for him. A rare front row start for Sinan. He's usually a Sunday man rather than a Saturday man, but today he's proven that he can qualify as well, and putting himself in a very good place for this race. He only just edged out the Mighty Midget though, who was only 100th back from the Red Bull man. So it's a McLaren followed by a Red Bull and then a Toro Rosso on the grid. It's all up for grabs today, as Azar, who of course won the last two races for Ferrari, is absent from this one. So 25 points up for grabs, and plenty of drivers will be wanting to claw in the lead that Azar has opened up in this championship fight. So as we prepare to throw over to the grid now, we're on board with Sinan with 4 and 5 red lights. Lights out and away we go. Decent start from Ollie Bob, decent start from Sinan as well. It looks like in the first phase they're both equal, but of course as they head through the kink of turn 1 now, it's going to be the long run towards turn 2 and the slipstream battle that begins. Luke has got a tremendous run on them. Nor on the inside there, dives to the inside of the corner, gets in too hot, hits the McLaren. That's Nor gone spinning. He's turned around, and it's Luke who's come out of that with the whole shot. He's in P1 with Ollie Bob second place, Sinan third, Mighty Midget, who started third of course, now down in fourth place. And well, this is going to be quite a ride. Hold on to your hats folks. Luke is about to take us from P4 on the grid all the way up into P1. So he gets a fantastic initial launch and then just gets in the slipstream of that Red Bull, but just cruises past them. That Renault seems to be running less wings than everybody else, or just had superior straight line speed there at least. So a decent start converted into P1 for Luke, and he'll be hoping to steal a march on this field now from prime position in the pack. As we see a bit further back now on board with Sam, who started this one in P10. KGibbs just ahead there, as you see on the left in the Mercedes, and in between the two of them it's the Manor of Clippers. And as they all pile towards turn 2, it's a game of cat and mouse with who's going to be earlier on the brakes. Lagging Renault there, as we see Nor to the left facing the pack, fortunately ghosted, so it didn't cause as much carnage as it maybe could have done. And KGibbs, who passed under the yellow flags, has to let Vapid back through, and in fact let Sam through as well. So KGibbs loses out there, not very cunning at all from him in letting Vapid back through, and loses out another position there that he did not need to. As we see on board now with Drastic Midget in P11, it's line astern as we come towards the end of lap 1, but Matt Drastic Midget getting all out of shape on the curbs there, and it's going to let his teammate Worthy through as they head through turn 16 now. Oh, and there's contact between the two Williams there. It looked like a bit of lag maybe, but Drastic Midget hits the back of Worthy, and drama for Williams. Claire Williams is not going to be pleased about that one little bit on the pit wall, and so Drastic Midget spun around on lap 1 and with work to do. As we see Mighty Midget, we haven't seen what happened to him later on in lap 1, but he's dropped down from P4 to P10 and looks to be getting a march on EIusiveKev for P9 as he forces the South Browder Road on the exit there and takes the position. So nicely done there from Mighty Midget, just about gained P9 and is on a bit of a fight back as we've got a change for the lead as Ollie Bob tries to take Luke on the outside. Luke having none of it, hangs out on the inside, bit of contact on the exit of 2, and there goes Sinan as well through just the same. So Ollie Bob leads, Sinan second, Luke now drops from first to third in the space of 2 corners, and well, it was feisty stuff from the two of them there. Luke was not about to give up P1 without a fight, and it was ultimately cost him in the end. A little bit of contact with Ollie Bob coming off the corner, not really anyone's fault, but Luke certainly was the party who lost out most there. So drama for him in the early phases of this race, as we see the Mighty Midgets move on EIusiveKev once again. And here we go now, a little bit further up the field. Sam's made great progress so far, up from P10 on the grid to P6, make that P5 as the Ferrari cruises past the Force India. The first DRS move we've seen of this race. The DRS can be pretty powerful here as well. We saw in Valencia in tracks where you've got walls either side of the straights basically, but the DRS is all the more powerful. But cutting away from that DRS chat, it looks like Luke's not even going to need DRS as he cruises past Sinan with superior traction off the last corner. So Luke, who dropped from P1, remember last lap, down to P3, has regained, I should say, second position, and is now going to try and hunt down that McLaren up ahead of him. On board down with the Mighty Midget, and a three-way scrap ahead of him that he wants to make a four-way battle. So we've got Worthy in here, we've got Clippers, and we've got Vapid Coot. It's down the inside for Mighty Midget. The two of them side by side. Clippers putting the pinch on him. Midget's in the wall. Drama for him. He's going to be gutted to end the race in that way, and it's a DNF for him. Just we see it from Clippers' perspective now. He gets up the inside of Vapid. Vapid hangs in there. Clippers just gets it all out of shape on the exit, and yeah, drops it as he gets on the dirty part of the track on the outside. And unfortunately, that's a racing incident, I think, in my book anyway. Just dropped it on the exit on the dirty stuff, and Mighty Midget was in the wrong place at the wrong time there. I'm very unfortunate to be collected, but not a lot Clippers could do really, other than get out of the throttle, of course. I suppose you could always say the throttle pedal goes two ways, but yeah, unfortunate stuff there. Just one of those things you get when you get on the dirty side of the track. As we see now, Worthy looking to make a move on Sam, and he makes that pass nice and easily there into turn 2. DRS once again proving pretty powerful. This time Sam's the party on the receiving end of a DRS overtake, and so that's Worthy now up into P5. He's made good progress in this one. We saw him battling away with Drastic. Oh, and Sam dives to the inside there. I thought that was job done for Worthy, but Sam bites straight back at the Williams there and retakes the place. And now jumping back to our lead battle, Ollie Bob's pace out front has not been a match for that of Luke nor Sinan's behind, and so we've got a three-way fight now for the lead, as Ollie Bob gets it all crossed up as well on the exit of the last corner. That's given Luke a good run and good momentum as they head through turn 1 now. Ollie Bob takes a defensive line. It's not going to serve him very well though, because here comes Luke. He's going to be past him anyway, heading into the braking zone at turn 2, and that is now Luke in the Renault back up into P1. Ollie Bob tucks into second. Sinan can't quite dispatch the McLaren yet, but given it their superior pace, you'd imagine it's only a matter of time. Our pole man doesn't seem to have the race pace at the moment, but can he change that in the laps to come? 20 laps still to go, of course. As you see Worthy back down the inside of Sam in this battle that keeps running on and on and on. So will Sam try and pull the same move he did last lap? He's in the slipstream of the Williams heading around turn 3. So as they head through the corner now, Sam shaping up for a move on the inside at turn 4. Worthy's wise to it, defends a little bit more than he did last time, but still not enough. And he compromises himself on the exit of 4 as well, and that's given Vapid a little look, I should say, down the inside, but to no avail. And we see a lap later, battle resume between these two. Worthy's going to have DRS service this time, and looks to go down the inside once again of Sam. So will he try and move again into turn 4? Fantastic wheel-to-wheel action between these two. We so often see it from Sam. He's such a good racer, got some great racecraft behind the wheel of that Ferrari. And is he going to try it again? Is Worthy going to go any more defensive? I don't think he can, because Sam's already up the inside with a superior drive through turn 4. Worthy hanging out around the outside though. Great traction off the corner and takes the place back. So that's Worthy back into P5. Sam has to settle into P6 for now, and that's the first time Worthy's got a bit of breathing space on Sam. But here we go into turn 13. Sam with the outside line, Worthy with the inside. The two of them side by side. Sam runs out of road but maintains the position through turn 14, and with the high ground for the corner, he takes P5 away and gets a bit of a snap of oversteer for good measure on the exit, but has retained the place. So that's Sam P5 now. Casey's getting away in P4. He's loving these two battling out, because that's given him some breathing space. But Worthy now down the inside into the penultimate corner, runs Sam, but gives Sam plenty of space actually on the exit. And will he do the same on the exit of the final corner? Yes, he does. So Sam will surely gobble up that bit of trace track there and get some superior traction off the last corner. DRS service as well. Can Worthy do anything about this Ferrari's lag? Is hopefully not going to intervene in this particular battle, as Sam has the outside line through turn 2. Surely he's not going to make that work. Yes, he is. In fact, great traction off the corner from Sam, and he's got in the rare scenario where he's actually leading the battle on the way into turn 4. So he doesn't actually have to do any single thing on this lap, and has maintained the position there. And so on board with Luke now, who is in P7 after making his pit stop. He's jumped before those guys around him onto the soft compound of tyres, looking to get an undercut. It's not the most powerful of things around here, but he's going for it anyway. And as we see him side by side now with Kay Gibbs, I doubt the Mercedes man is going to battle him too hard, because of course it's really not his race at the moment. And so just as I thought, he lets Luke back through, and so that's now Luke passing Ollie Bob on the way out of the pits. And look, here's Sinan, who's made his stop as well. So Luke ahead of Ollie Bob still, has Sinan got the jump on him? Yes, he has. So Sinan has emerged from the pit lane ahead of Luke. That hasn't worked out too well for Luke. You would wonder if that battle he had with K. Gibbs, albeit very short, may have just cost him in this battle for supremacy here in Russia, as Sinan now takes the de facto race lead. Luke settles into second, and Ollie Bob, after the shuffle, comes off third best in this occasion and will be third place once all the pit stops shake themselves out, you'd imagine, as we see Sam now putting some manners on Maestro, and he of course has made the move onto the soft compounded tyres as well. And so checking in now with Drastic Midget, who we saw was backwards at the end of lap 1, and has now got a virtual safety car on his HUD. So we'll drop to the Delta time, and as you see, Maestro absolutely barreling out of the pit lane, seemingly not governed by the virtual safety car speeds, and has got the jump on Drastic Midget there. So I doubt Drastic Midget will be very happy with that one at all. But ultimately he's now stuck behind Maestro for at least a little while. You'd imagine Maestro on fresher tyres though will have some pace to pull away. As we check back in with this lead battle, it's all closed up at the front, and it was contact between Luke and Ollie Bob, and looks like a bit of lag intervened there in that particular fight as Ollie Bob's cruised away up the racetrack, and Luke is now down in P3 without a front wing and needing a safety car. So he's saved a little bit by a virtual safety car, which is going to limit the damage this pit stop does, but of course he's been significantly hampered by having to do a lap without a front wing. And well, I was saying earlier with previous battles that lag seemed to be causing a few issues in this race, and it's intervened in the lead scrap. Luke so unlucky there, and now it's just Ollie Bob and Sinan in that battle for P1. And you'd imagine, as I said, based on the pace we've seen so far in this race, that Sinan would be favourite. He's got the track position as well, but Ollie Bob has certainly managed to hang on to the back of these two, on the back of Sinan and Luke, and I didn't expect he'd be able to do that, to be fair, based on his pace in the first stint. So a decent effort from that McLaren in the second part of this race. As we see now on board with EIusiveKev, this is a replay, of course, of his restart, and looks to be chasing down Drastic Midget. This battle, of course, for the final points paying position, so could prove pivotal in the final reckoning for those guys. As we see now, Clippers in P4, Sam P5, Luke behind in P6 after his unfortunate pit stop, and Clippers wipes the nose of Sam there, wasn't leaving him much change on the apex of turn 13. So it's line astern for P4, 5 and 6 here. Luke is going to want to dispatch these guys as quick as possible and see what he can do in terms of putting some damage on the guys ahead and to try and catch the guys in Casey in third place is going to be his prime target, and of course the guys in first and second, you'd imagine, are just going to be too far up the road at this point. But as we head on to lap 18 now, Sam and Luke, of course, are going to have DRS service behind Clippers. We've seen so far in this race just how powerful the DRS is. So as Sam gets that activated, he goes to the outside of Clippers. Clippers taking a middle of the road approach, and Sam not worried about that one little bit because he's made the move stick anyway. He's a little bit hot into turn 2, and that's going to allow Clippers to come back through. We're on board now with Luke. Clippers to the inside of turn 4, Sam, or turn 3 I should say, Sam on the outside. Is he going to do his trademark move into 4? Clippers is late on the brakes, the two of them make a little bit of contact. Sam just about hangs onto it there. I thought that was heading to the wall. He was about to exit stage right, but it was a good catch from him. As we see Luke now tucked behind in P6, but get good traction off of turn 5, and that is going to be a job done through 6 and into 7. Luke makes the move on Sam up into P5, and surely he's going to dispatch Clippers in short order as well. And yes, indeed he does. So that's Clippers down at P5, Luke up into P4, and Casey Legend, his teammate, of course, the man ahead on the road as such. And with Luke being on those super soft tyres and Casey being on those older softs, you wonder how long it's going to be until Luke can catch him. Or if Luke can catch him, of course, there's not that many laps to go. So it'll be interesting to see how that battle closes up in the closing stages, as we see Sam putting the move on Clippers and making that move stick. So he's now up in the P5 as well. As we see EIusiveKev disqualified from the session. Multiple penalties received for Kev. It's not the first time we've seen that, unfortunately. And so just playing a few too many liberties with the track limits. And that is the Sauber man disqualified from the session and out of this Russian Grand Prix. As we see now on board with Sinan, lap 21, our race leader, of course. And it looks like Ollie Bob behind is dropped a little bit further back now versus Sinan. So the Red Bull man with a bit of breathing space out front. We've got Casey now P3, as you see, similar distance back from where Ollie Bob is, and Luke, who can now see the other Renault man ahead of him. Sam, who's dropped a little bit back from Luke. You wouldn't imagine, Luke being on those super soft tyres, that Sam would have an answer to the Renault man's pace, and that's just how it's proving at the moment. Maestro and P7 may be able to catch Clippers by the end of this one, and K Gibbs, who's just been passed by Vapid, down to P9 now, and these guys are all lapping faster than what Clippers is at the moment in P6, so it could be a four-way scrap for that particular position come the end of this race, as Casey Legend has actually made a pit stop down to P5 now, and that's ended that particular fight between him and Luke. That's now given Luke track position, and as the rain begins to fall now, that's thrown a bit of a double six, as Casey's actually stopped for the intermediate tyres, and you'd imagine, given the way he just cruised past Clippers there, that this is actually the perfect time that he's boxed on this occasion, as we see Clippers getting it all out of shape on the way into turn 13, and Luke boxes just a lap after his teammate. Casey gathered some good data for the team there, and Renault suddenly realised that it's time to pull the trigger on their championship contender as well. And so Casey, who still manages to maintain track position over Luke, but Luke is now much closer to the Renault driver ahead of him. And so on board now with Ollie Bob, who's also on board now with Sinan, I should say, who's also on the intermediate tyres, who also switched at the right time. And on lap 27 of 27 is rounding these corners for the final time. So Sinan, of course, who won back in Season 1 in China, who hasn't taken a win just yet. That was his first win, of course, in FormulaXbox. He hasn't taken a win just yet in Season 7, but his first win for Red Bull is just 2 corners away now, and his first Season 7 victory just 1 corner away. Sinan brilliantly wins the Russian Grand Prix. He had to hold off Luke, he had to pass Ollie Bob on the road, and he has done both of those things, and a fantastic drive from him. Casey Legend maintains track position over Luke there, so he rounds off the podium place. Ollie Bob, of course, ahead of him in second, and Luke finishing in third. Ollie Bob, in fact, drops down there. We'll see where he actually finishes in the final assessment, but the penalties have intervened there, and so it's actually a double Renault podium. It's Casey in second behind Sinan, and it's Luke up in P3. And given Luke's unfortunate drama earlier in this race, you'd have to say that's a good damage limitation result for him. As we're on board now with Clippers, I said it was all going to close up towards the end, and that it has. He's got Maestro breathing down his neck here as we head through turn 16 and on to 17 and 18. Is he going to be able to hold off the Red Bull man? He's covering the inside line. Maestro is going to have a look down the inside. Is he? Very difficult to outbrake someone in these intermediate conditions, but looks like he's got the position retained, and Clippers finishes his debut in P6. As Ollie Bob actually drops back behind Clippers, so Ollie Bob's fallen well down the order after finishing second on the road. Plastic Midget comes home for the final points paying position in P10, and it'll be interesting to see what the stewards have to say about multiple penalties on the board here. Certainly the top 3 aren't going to be changed. It's Sinan, followed by Casey, followed by Luke. The top 3, Sam up in P4, decent effort from him, and Maestro finishing P5 despite the numerous battles we saw him fighting throughout the race on this one. And so we'll see in the final standings in just a few moments time what the stewards had to say, but an interesting wet-dry race that was, or a dry-wet race I should say. That one kept everybody on their toes towards the end, and it always makes it particularly fun for the guys trying to decide when the switchover is. Basically, we saw Casey did actually time it really well in the end, and managed to retain position because of it, and he really put it on the optimum lap. A lot of people just went 1 lap too long. But if you look at the actual standings now following that race, it was Sinan who brilliantly took the win, of course. As I said, Casey and Luke unchanged. Ollie Bob actually got put back up into P4 after the stewards removed a couple of his penalties. Sam ended up P5, Maestro 6th, K Gibbs back up into 7th despite finishing P9 on the official standings. And as we look at the championship standings now, it's Silent Mole, Luke, of course, who leads the way on 71 points. Azar on 57.5 after his 2 race victories this season. Missing Russia has proved pretty pivotal in that particular scrap. But of course, you'd imagine with the pace he's shown in that Ferrari so far, that him and Luke could be battling all the way towards the end of the season. We've seen Casey as well hanging in there, a bit like he did last season, to the coattails of the leading championship protagonists. Sinan up to 4th place after his win here, 39 points for him. Sam on 37. Those two battled throughout Season 6 and seem to be shaping up for a similar championship fight in Season 7 as well. So that just leaves me to say thanks for watching this race, folks. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed racing and commentating on it. And until next time, we will be in Spain. I shall see you very soon. Goodbye.